So, a couple of reading tips, and then I'm going to open this up for a few minutes for questions, because we've got a total of 22 minutes left. Some Old Testament reading tips, okay? You'll see at the bottom here a scroll, and you'll see a computer. Because, as I've been saying from day one, and if it's the only thing you ever remember from these classes, please remember this. Cultures and technology change, but people don't. We still want things we shouldn't have. We still don't want the things we should. That doesn't change. So whether it is King Asa fell upon the Amalekites, or whether it's this guy tried to mug me, things haven't changed in the sense of human nature. So, when you read drought, try to think recession. When you read locusts, try to think auto repairs. When you read crops, try to think bank account. When you read pestilence and famine, try to think bill collectors. When you read invasion, try to think crime and terrorism, like that horrible shooting yesterday. You know, you hear about border skirmishes and stuff in the Old Testament and you can't relate. Well, we can relate to shootings. When you read swords and spears, think Uzis and AK-47s. And finally, when you read chariot, think stretch Humvee. A combination of a limousine and a tank. Because when you read that somebody was using a chariot, that should be the effect. Oh yeah, that guy was going down the street in a stretch Humvee. So this is kind of, I'm going to open it up for a few minutes for questions and feedback, but that's kind of the setting. If I could give you a single page that's a cheat sheet, a single page that helps you understand what you're reading in the Old Testament, it would be that. Just so you know, we're going to cover a timeline. We're going to cover kind of the layout of the books in the Old Testament, and then we're going to be done. We've got about 18 minutes at this point. So fire away, guys.
What were the other groups that went through the Red Sea with the Israelites?
Well, there was a lot of other slaves in Egypt, for one. You know,
I never knew that.
Yeah. And a lot of other people groups who basically signed on with the God of Israel to get out of Egypt, who were also slaves. We generally don't know very much about them because their cultures were absorbed into Israel. Had they remained distinct long enough to have something we could uncover with archaeology, it would be different. But there are several points in the Old Testament we have references to the fact that, you know, a number of foreigners joined them. It's a lot to absorb, I know.